Party people! Yeah! Tag team music in full effect. That's me, DC, the brain supreme. And my man Steve Rowland. We're kicking the flow. And it goes a little something like this. Tag
This
team.
limo is such a cool idea, Persis. You even thought of the portable toilet and all.
What a relief. What? You were saying?
I said, this limo is so cool. Best way to travel to the Oscar Odyssey Awards.
It's the only way to travel to the Oscar Odyssey, Raven. I got a great deal from Ellen DeGeneres. She usually uses this limo to take her dog for a walk. I'm so proud of myself.
Really? A walk in a limo?
Hey, I guess that's how celebrities roll. I mean, even their dogs are given the 5-star treatment, you know. Hey, you know what? Get this. This limo even comes with its very own built-in veterinary clinic.
Where?
Here. Hello there, Dr. Doolittle. How's it going in there?
Beastly? I haven't examined an animal in ages. Hey, you're not Ellen DeGeneres.
No, I'm not. And you're not either, so bye. Whew, what a cranky vet. Glad we got rid of that twat.
Yeah. Hey, we are almost there at the Kodak Theater.
Cool. Hey, driver, get us round the back, will ya?
Sure thing, ladies. Uh-oh.
What?
Paparazzi. Hang on, ladies. Let's get you guys to the Oscar Odyssey Awards.
Whoa! Hey,
Guys, gotta hold on to my seat.
Oh, gross!
Drive!
Okay, we're driving.
Round the back, we're trying to avoid security.
What? Why? What?
We were trying to get backstage to the awards, but we got caught.
Oh, guys, not again? You didn't have the official press passes, right?
Which is where you come in.
Oh, no way.
You could lend us your invitations? We could sneak up backstage and take selfies with the stars.
You know what? Actually, girls, that's not a bad idea. Huh.
No way, Persis. If we get caught, we'll never get invited back. Don't you understand?
Ah, you're just being silly. What's a little harmless fun between chummies, eh?
Yeah, what's your problem, Raven?
My problem is that we are always getting into trouble at Celebrities Bachelors with you guys, the Silver Screen Queens.
Thanks to your bad influence. We were charming little film podcasters once, hosting our cool little podcast on films.
Yeah, until you came along and turned us into cinematic trolls.
All right. That's not how it went down, my little minions. It was actually Harvey freaking Weinstein who sold you guys to the devil. You know, we merely paved the way. Nothing to get hot under the collar about, ladies. So, let's just get to the awards in one piece, shall we? Okay? Sneak us all backstage at some point, and then we can work our magic on another high-octane, action-centric episode of Tomboy T-Rod. Yes, not tirade, not tirade, but T-Rod, the way we like to say it. And you know what? Guess what? We're on episode 42, people. Yes, episode 42. So as we come to you from the 2015 Oscar Odyssey Awards.
That's right. It's the cheaper, China-made version of the Oscars.
Yep, with all the same bells and whistles, nominees and winners as the actual Oscars, except this one comes with a lot of wonton, curry puffs, and, unfortunately, dickheads.
And we'll be hitting it up backstage with our dear friends from Canberra, Australia, the Silver Screen Queens. who are dressed to kill tonight with their cameras.
Yay!
Oh, yeah. Silver Screen Queens are a weekly film review podcast. Yay! Hosted by Katie Malloy and Melissa Savage. So tell the world about yourselves, Melissa and Katie. So what made you guys go into podcasting and talk about films, and where can we find you on social media?
Well, we've been friends for about 13 years now, and we became friends because we're fangirls who like to talk about movies and TV and super nerdy stuff. We've been annoying people for a long time by telling them what we think about movies, and we both did a film degree together. That's why we became friends at university. And then a couple of years ago, we started a podcast. we decided to just kind of start recording it and putting it out there.
Melissa's husband Jelly has a podcast label, I guess, with a lot of podcasts under it, and so he was recording a couple. So we thought, well, why not? We should give it a try. And the thing we know about the most is movies, so we decided to start talking about movies for the podcast. And I have I started a blog around the same time as well, so a movie review blog.
So where can we find you on social media and online?
Yeah, so the podcast is all over the place. We have a website, silverscreenqueens.com, which is where you can find the episodes. And we are also on Twitter at @screen_queens. We're on Facebook, facebook.com/silverscreenqueens. And we like to hang out on Tumblr at tumblr.silverscreenqueens.com. We also both are on social media ourselves. I'm at Melissa Savage on Twitter if people want to find me there.
And I'm at green_queen.
Yeah,
Can't
guys
get
are
out of the queen
everywhere.
mindset. Okay.
We are.
Nice.
Nice.
You're dominating the world.
I love
one
it, yeah.
podcast,
At
one
a
movie
time.
at a time.
Yes, that's
We
right.
just like to hang out on Tumblr and reblog pictures of Chris Evans.
Another Marvel actor named Chris.
Pretty much.
Sorry, ladies, to interrupt, but we're here. It's Backstage D. You'll have to get off here. I'll be back in an hour.
Cool. Thanks, Nitro. You're the best kick-ass limo driver in town.
Save me a trophy, will ya? Later, girl.
What? Nitro just hit that guy.
Holy shit!
I think it might have been Jake Gyllenhaal. We just added injury to insult.
Talk about a license to kill, and I hope no one's taking photographs of this. Okay, gotta go. We still have to talk about our Oscar predictions, meeting Singapore filmmaker about his film. That was the country's entry into the foreign film section of the Oscars this year, sexism and racism in this year's Oscars, and more.
But what about Jake Gyllenhaal?
Leave it. We've got to go. Come on, everybody. We've got some Oscar news to cover.
Yes, let's go! This year's Oscars, unlike our version, has been riddled with racial and sexist controversy despite last year's ultra-black nod to awesome films like 12 Years a Slave, Captain Phillips, and a win for gorgeous gal Lupita Nyong'o. So what the hell happened this year?
The lack of ethnicity and color in the Academy Award nominations, a lot of people are upset. What is your reaction to that?
Well, I think it's very simple, and I say this first, that Cheryl Boone Isaac's doing a great job as new president of the Academy. But if your voting board, if your voting body's not diverse, then those are the results.
Why did Selma, a film directed by one of the few black female directors in the world, get completely ignored, as well as Chris Rock's very introspective top 5 film? I mean, did someone from the Ku Klux Klan threaten to burn Hollywood or something if colored films got nominated this year? Come on, what's going on? Racism, sexism, this is 2015. What's going on?
Sorry, but white can't be all might, right? You know, I felt
Yeah.
that last year was like patting themselves on the head. Like, okay, we did our part, we sort of like reach our milestone. We remembered to nominate and give awards to black movies and black actors, and this year it's like, okay, we done our job. Okay, let's back to normal this year. Like, last year never happened.
Yeah.
That's it's
I think we can safely say that we were not speechless at all. this is so normal from the Academy. I think like the members are like 90% white and 70% male, and they have an average age of like 63. There you go. So we're not surprised that they did this. It's terrible because there's so many interesting, diverse films, and there's so many more that could be made that don't get made.
I mean, there was a lot of argument around that, like, because 12 Years a Slave won last year, they were like, okay, we're done. We never have to nominate anybody black again.
For the
next 10 years.
Kind of,
that's it. We're done. You know.
We've already maxed out on our quota for colored films, and you know, I mean, this is very, very true. I mean, leaving out Harvey Weinstein in the picture, God forbid, I will never get financed for my next film by Harvey Weinstein ever again. But I mean, it's like he's always in the mix. It's always his films. It's always white films about white people or white leads, and it's always about either someone who is a political figure who got assassinated, someone who had AIDS and then died, you know. It's always about films with depressing endings. Disabled, retarded,
schizo,
terminally ill, mentally ill.
Patriotic, with a gun, rifle, shooting out all the terrorists, evil terrorists from Middle East.
Oh yeah, we can't forget about the terrorists.
Right? That's an interesting choice. I guess American Sniper, which I'm not watching, sounds kind of awful, and it's very action heavy, which is unusual for these guys. But I guess old white guys who are friends with Clint Eastwood.
It's. I mean, it's as much about who you know as what you do as well.
Paramount needs like a big smack because they did not send out screeners of Selma early enough for the Directors Guild, the Producers Guild, and I think possibly even the Screen Actors Guild to get to see them before they had to vote.
That's right.
So there were like not enough screeners, not enough people saw it. And you talk about Top 5, the Chris Rock film earlier. Now, it's probably unlucky because it's a romantic comedy and they don't like them either. But that's like, that didn't even go, I haven't seen it come out here.
It didn't come out here.
It hasn't been released outside of America.
That's right. It's very hard to find. It's hardly
any talk at all.
Any publicity,
but that
nothing.
happens a lot.
Mr. President, Dr. King is here.
Mr. President, in the South, there have been thousands of racially motivated murders. We need your help.
Dr. King, this thing's just gonna have to wait.
It cannot wait.
You got one big issue, I got 101.
Selma it is.
Here is the next great battle.
Selma's the place, and they ready.
Dr. King!
I tell you, that white boy can hit.
Chris Rock's movie didn't even come out here in Australia because I guess the studio has this idea that Australia is all white people.
Yeah.
And it's not even close. And America is not all white people either.
Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah, but I think the interesting thing about that sort of stuff is like TV is basically basically where they're pushing all of those boundaries and that sort of thing.
You're
TV
right.
is where all of that stuff's happening.
Absolutely. And if movies don't catch up and start embracing new media the way TV has, in 20 years' time, we won't have an Oscars to talk about. It's the business model is changing, and they really need to get on board, or else they're not going to survive.
The problem is that they're trying really hard to be relevant, but they're trying really hard to be relevant from the point of view of
themselves.
mostly white old men.
Old men. I mean, if you look at Captain Phillips, why did it get nominated? Because everyone loves Tom Hanks, right? 12 Years a Slave, why did it get nominated? Because it was partially funded by Brad Pitt. You know? And so you start
I have to
thinking
say
about all these associations, and you're like, yeah, but, you know, behind the scenes.
It is true, but
yeah,
Brad Pitt has actually done some really good stuff. Like he used his power as a 50-year-old white man to get 12 Years a Slave and Selma both made. So he's a producer of Selma. Like I think for him, I think he's done a really good job. But like you can see some other things like Richard Linklater and Wes Anderson. They're both they both came up together in the 90s. They're both kind of slightly indie movie guys who've been around forever.
I thought what's happened is their most recent movies have been their most mainstream movies, and those are the ones that got nominated.
That's right.
As they get older, they become more mainstream, and therefore
Alejandro
more likely.
Inarritu as well, who's up for Birdman. They're all they're the same age. They've been doing indie stuff for a while, and now they've done something that's a bit mainstream. Of course, Birdman is nominated because it's a movie about a play about actors and how awesome actors are and how wonderful. So that's
but
why
also
that's
about
nominated.
how terrible superhero movies are.
That's right. That's true. Which is nice, you know.
This is something that I really I see. This is I have a problem with this because I think the best movie of last year was Captain America 2.
I totally agree. No, I
absolute
really
best
agree.
movie of last year.
It is.
And it's totally a really good movie about like the power of government and the decline of America, and it details race and like all these other really interesting, difficult things. But because it's a superhero movie, they're like, oh no, that's not a serious film.
Yeah, and I think Captain America 2 has more to say about the state of the world at the moment than Birdman does. But Birdman lines up with like what the Oscar voters think. But it's also them being able to look down their nose at superhero movies,
Correct.
in spite of superhero movies being better than a lot of the stuff that they're nominating for Oscars.
Like Richard Linklater's Boyhood.
Boyhood is not transgressive at all,
And
Boyhood is so safe.
And it's just about the story of a boy, and
it's not
all
a story.
All of
There's
these
no story. It's just watching a boy grow up.
Right? Yeah, over 12 years. Yeah.
I might as well start recording my life now.
Yeah.
Like, you know, for the next 12 years.
Yeah. Let's do that.
And then we will be a movie.
When the war is won.
This year's Oscars seem to be loaded chock full of snubs. From those based on color to those based about old people like Mr. Turner and Selma. Are awards becoming more and more focused on being loyal to cultural roots, just like BAFTAs are a nod to being the best in British television and films?
Yes.
You think?
Yeah, I mean, because, you know, everyone thinks that everyone looks up to America when it comes to making a film, and if a film is successful, everyone looks at America for setting the standard. So, because the Oscars is supposed to be, you know, setting the global standard of what is best about the world of cinema and filmmaking, it just seems that, you know, most of the time, only American films seem to bask in the spotlight. And if they do have a British film or an Australian film, which is very rare, I mean, for Australian films, actually, when it does happen, it's just very few and far between, you know. But I do get the sense that America still has a very transatlantic fondness for British films. And, you know, rightly so, because some British films are really very well done. But that's just about it. You know, you rarely even see a French film now. Once every few years, you see a French film, or Life is Beautiful by an Italian filmmaker. But after that, what happens?
I think the last Australian one was the one with Geoffrey Rush. The piano.
Oh no, that was years ago. The last Australian one was
New Zealand, right?
Jackie Weaver.
Animal Kingdom.
Yeah, Animal Kingdom.
Yeah.
No, but I mean, I think the Geoffrey Rush one was actually up. Shine was actually best up for
Shine.
Yeah,
Shine.
it
That was
was.
many
but
years
this,
ago.
that was a while
eons
ago.
Yeah.
But I think Animal Kingdom was up. I think Lantana was up for maybe something small. But I think I mean.
But there aren't a lot of good Australian movies.
Yeah, our industry is not so great here. We have American films, just there's so much dominance, and we don't have a lot of. I mean, or once our actors get good, or even our directors, once they get good, they go to LA and start making American films. I think British people will complain about this, but their industry is a lot healthier than ours is. But ours is really it's government supported, and I mean. I think nowadays it's changing everywhere. There's a lot, because of the way new media and the way the internet works now, there are a lot more people making films in different places and getting them out there. But
places,
it's not reflected at the top end of the industry yet.
Well, no, but then if you look at, there's a movie that came out of Australia last year called The Babadook, which is a horror movie. And I saw it here, not knowing what I was going into, but it was really, really good, and it was crowdfunded.
I heard about that. Yeah.
Yeah, and it's actually doing really, really well, and it won the best Australian film this year, and a few other things. But that is one movie that, I mean, it doesn't happen for everybody all the time, but it's got a female director. It's a very, woman-focused movie. It's about a woman and her son, and it's a really, really good movie that has kind of managed to break through just with, sheer willpower and quality.
Yeah, it's we have a few genre films that get through. Wolf Creek from a few years ago.
Yeah.
Yes.
And Saw, the first Saw movie, was an Australian film.
I heard that recently there was an article about the Australian film industry that it's basically on its last legs because no one in Australia wants to see an Australian film. It's
That's
so
pretty
strange,
true.
right?
It's because they've been bad for a long time.
Yeah, I think if there's a good Australian film, people will go and see it. Wolf Creek did huge numbers. Wolf Creek 2 did huge numbers. The Babadook took off and has done reasonably well, although it did better overseas.
And
That's
also,
my
I find
theory.
like from the Asian perspective, like also because the only person who has ever even stepped onto the only Asian directors that have actually even won anything for anything is Shakti Kapoor as well as Ang Lee, who's like the favorite
I love
child of
Ang Lee.
the Academy Awards. Anything that Ang Lee makes is Oscar worthy, which in fact I don't think so because I thought Life of Pi was a horrible movie.
Well, I think
I
think
on
what happens
so many
with
levels. I was like, what the hell am I watching?
I
I think
what
it's an
happens
apology. It's an apology award. They
Yeah.
apologized to him for not giving him the award for Hidden. What's that movie?
Crouching
Tiger,
Tiger,
Hidden
Hidden Dragon,
And
Yeah.
Brokeback
which was a
Brokeback
far
Mountain.
And Brokeback Mountain
better
was
movie.
the best
you know?
movie that came out that year. Brokeback Mountain was the
Exactly.
best movie that came out the year that Brokeback Mountain didn't win the Oscar.
Exactly.
Crash, which was a very, very average movie, won the Oscar that
Yes.
year over Brokeback Mountain.
Yes.
Go ahead.
Al Pacino, Godfather, Godfather 2, Serpico, Dog Day Afternoon. I'm missing one other. He never won.
Right. So there's a makeup rule.
Makeup. So, Scent of a Woman, boom, give it to him. Denzel, you're young, you're coming back. Training Day.
Yeah. So people, you think, actually think that way when they're
Yes.
like, filling out their ballots.
Yeah. They look at this, say, this guy's been messed over 4 times.
Yeah.
I mean, what did Scorsese win for?
Well, he should. He should.
Whoa. What did he win for?
He should.
What did he win for?
Stop. He should have won maybe 5 times.
Thank you.
Okay.
So what did he
Fair
win
enough,
for?
Fair enough. What did he win for?
What was the film he won for? Best Director.
The Departed?
Raging Bull.
All right, you're good.
Goodfellas. Come on.
Come on. Now let's go back to Mean Streets. I mean, it's all good
Mean
stuff.
Streets. So I'm saying.
Yeah.
They're makeup calls.
Someone like Ang Lee will have one breakthrough movie, right? They only need one. And if they have one breakthrough movie that is about something that white people care about, they will have that one movie that gets them through. And then after that, people are fawning all over them no matter what they do.
Exactly.
And that
And-
tends to
and
happen
that's-
with any director, like from any background. If they have one movie that is made that everybody cares about, then suddenly they become the poster child for whatever group they're from as being, this is a
That's
good
right.
one.
Okay. I'm at the back of the Ching Chong Fun Theatre where we are celebrating the 2015 Oscar Odyssey, and I'm looking for Sanif Oleg. KK. Sanif. Hey, Sanif, is that Sanif Oleg? Are you Sanif Oleg?
Say, I like your outfit there.
Oh, not this door. Let me try this one. Sanif, is that you? Jeez, there are some strange people backstage here. Sanif! Hey, Sanif! Wow, finding Sanif is harder than I thought. Okay, you guys must be wondering who Sanif Oleg is. Well, he's a Singaporean filmmaker who's been in this business since I was a fetus. Yeah, over 20 years in the industry. Oh, I wonder if this is his room. Sanif! Hello, Sanif! Again, lost cause, not Sanif. Now, like I said, Sanif's been in the Singapore television and film industry for 20 long years. And I'm really proud to say that he has finally received the recognition he deserves. After winning accolades for his latest film, Sayang Di Sayang, Sanif's touching story about a father who experiences empty nest syndrome and has to deal with a maid who cooks for him, is actually Singapore's entry for the best foreign film in this year's Academy Awards.
Untuk menambat hati yang merasa masakan itu, bukan pada rasa masakan itu, tetapi keikhlasan hati pemasaknya.
Palinglah enak hidup orang bujang sayang.
Oi! Bising lah, oi, bising. Memekak aje. Kalau masak itu sedap tak apa juga. Tak guna punya orang kampung.
Okay, he didn't get shortlisted, but hey, you know what? We are proud of this guy anyway. Let me see if I can find him. Sanif! Sanif!
Hey, Persis.
Oh, hey, Sanim, dude, how are you?
I'm good, thanks. What have you been up to?
Actually quite a lot. I've been harassing people in the backstage. I've been looking for you, and it seems like quite a while since we kind of bumped into each other.
Oh yeah, have we? Yeah.
How have you been?
Oh gosh, this whole Oscar thing, I think it's just so it's such a, I don't know, man. I don't know what to say. I think it's a bit surreal for me.
Is there any body part that you have not pinched yourself at after this news?
You know, I think I've been losing a lot of hair, and and if you have seen me, right, I don't really have hair, right? So yeah, if you can say so, yeah, that's right, yeah.
But I met you a couple of years ago when we were working on a project together, and I remember you were actually already working on Sayang Di Sayang.
Yes,
sort of like you were developing it, you were developing the script. What did you have to go through to sort of like get this film out?
Well, as you know, filmmaking is not really an easy process, because prior to do Sayang Di Sayang, the feature film, right, I've done short films.
Yeah.
But when you start to do a feature film, it's a totally different ball game, totally different learning curve altogether.
Yeah.
And for me to put a foot in it, it's like, whoa, you know. Okay, firstly, I think, you know, to get the funding going, it's really, really a tough process for me, because when you do short films, you can actually just call your friends and they can actually help out and all that. But I think,
can you help me for free?
Exactly. But when you do a feature film, and then when your friends, you know, hear that, oh, you're doing a feature film, and then they will ask you, oh, is it going to be a commercial film or is it going to be an indie film? So when I said, I'm not really sure where it's going to be heading, but at that time in 2009, when I first started on this film, I can say that it was the first local Malay feature, you know, to be done in Singapore for 2 generations since our independence.
Yeah, I saw the trailers for it like a couple of years back, and it was a shot of the lady actually cooking and singing, and
then people were like, "What are you doing?" You know, so
are you doing a new cooking show?
Yeah, are you doing a cooking show? And of course, when I got Dato' Rahim Razali, I mean, as you know, he's like the Ian McKellen of the Malay Asian cinema. He's such a magnificent actor and all that. And I think for a first-time feature filmmaker, you know, to get him into the project on board, I think is for me is like a morale booster.
Yeah.
But again, it's about the money, right?
How did you work around that?
What I was trying to do is to do a contemporary film.
Yeah.
That is about food, which we all love, right?
Yes, it's so Singaporean.
It's very, very Singaporean. I mean, we queue up like midnight queuing just to get, you know.
Exactly. We would kill for food, seriously.
Exactly. And then
just put it that way.
And then I incorporated all the Nusantara evergreen songs, because when I was, you know, in the 70s, when I was growing up, I listened to a lot of all this music on the radio. And then so I was incorporating all these songs into the film, and of course I use the element of sambal goreng, which is the quintessential Southeast Asian Malay food. That's easy. So what I wanted to do was a film that is not so insular, a film that encompasses the whole of the Malay Southeast Asian spirit.
Yeah. By the way, did you write the script or did you get someone else to write the script?
I conceptualized the story, but I wrote the script with Jin Shahrudin.
Okay.
Yeah, we wrote the story together, and he's the one I think who helped me with a lot of the songs because he's more in tune with the Malay nuance. I think. Yeah, so he helped me to pick which songs.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
And
so how did you guys come up with the idea for Pak Harun?
The story of Pak Harun is there was one time when I was working on this cooking show for MediaCorp, right? I was shooting in this house, and I love this house so much, and in this house there's actually a housemaid who was from Java, right? And the interesting thing about this housekeeper, right, is that she has 2 degrees.
Okay.
And one of it is a business degree, and the other one is some accounting degree or something, but it's from Java. But she comes to work in Singapore as a housekeeper. Wow. And I was like, so fascinating. And what happened in the house is that she works with this old elderly couple.
Yeah.
And where during the filming breaks, right? We would just have this conversation. I would ask her, "Hey, so what do you do the rest of the day?" And she said, "Well, I just prepare, them breakfast, lunch, dinner." And
so she's just like a chef, basically. So she's just like the official cook
she's like a
in
chef
the house.
Housekeeper / nurse / everything lah.
Okay.
And phone operator, Yeah, so it's like, she embodies the whole idea. That's how I kind of like got inspired to write the other character, the house character. And about the Pak Harun's character, right? What I did was that Pak Harun, I wanted to have someone who is very traditional, but still listen to the Beatles and Madonna.
Okay, so from that generation.
Yeah, from that generation. So, and also someone who's very important in the eyes of the community, who works in the mosque, someone that the community looks up to. I was talking to Jin. We wanted to make a statement about my community, basically in the eyes of this elderly person.
Yeah.
And also, this character is very special to us because it's something that not many people see about the Malay community, because when you talk about the Malay community, when you watch mainstream media, right, it's always about families living in HDB blocks and lower middle income and stuff like that. But this guy is from the upper class Malay family, you see. And also, Pak Harun has got a son who lives in Australia.
Yeah.
And as you know, there's a lot of Malay people living in Australia.
Yes. They're quite Western educated.
Exactly. It's like they can be Melayu Singapore, but when they go to Australia, they were like, I'm so westernized. It's that kind of vibe. We want to make a story about a lot of Singaporean families. They get housekeepers to look after their elderly.
Yeah.
Which is kind of like getting a bit common these days. So that again question, what happened to the idea of filial piety?
Correct.
So it's like, what happens when you put 2 people who don't have any
common thread,
and just dump them in this house. So what happens?
It's like a reality show. And so, it brings me to the next question, which, for me, I've been a huge fan of Malay films from the 50s, 60s. And I remember when Wahid Sateh and all these people were like the pioneers of Singapore Malay films. And at the time, Singapore was known for its Malay film industry. It was really strong. And what was really interesting was, like, you probably know this, is like, you had the Rex brothers, Chinese people backing up Malay films and things like that. And we haven't seen that in like such a long time. I mean, it was just like a forgotten thing. Some of the Malay filmmakers in Singapore, were happy to just do the bread and butter stuff,
just
TV doing the
TV. Which is what
we all have been doing. And it just felt like, it's a neglected part of the filmmaking industry. It's like, wow, what's going on?
What's going on, right? So
what is going on?
The other question also, that we ask, that I asked myself, which I kind of like, I got frustrated. It's like, when I attend film festivals, even local film festivals, right? And they were like, oh, these films are from Singapore. But then I was asking myself, hey, I'm a filmmaker, but why am I not doing anything, to actually
to add to this,
to add to this whole voice of to add to this whole narrative of Singapore, in my own authentic language, you see.
Correct, because it's a bit hard to relate to some of these
Exactly.
films, even though you grew up in Singapore, because I think in a way, although we are multiracial, the big picture is that we are multiracial, but we cannot run away from the fact that because of these different races, right, we all seem to be living in our little own pockets.
Exactly, indeed we do, yeah.
In the
I
last
agree with you,
20, 30 years. So it's very hard, like even for me, like if I go to film festivals and I watch other films being shown on screen, I find it a bit hard to relate.
Yeah, exactly. And sometimes, because, the fact that even though these films are about the communities in Singapore, sometimes even I myself, when as a Singaporean watching these films, I felt that those films are kind of a bit, I don't know, insular. I think kind of like, you cannot relate to what's going on.
It's hard for me to
Even though, they talk about
empathize with the character or maybe even the situation in which they are in.
I was traveling in Hawaii, right? To Hawaii for the film festival, and there were a couple of Singaporeans who have lived in the US for like donkey years lah, and they actually came to me and said, "Hey, you know what? We are glad that we are watching finally a non-Mandarin film representing Singapore. We are glad that this kind of films are representing Singapore overseas." When I hear that, I was like, wow, that means I'm doing something right here,
Yeah, because there are other, as I said, pockets of experiences in Singapore that are so rich, but
Exactly.
that are so bypassed because they're not the norm, they're not the stereotype.
It's like whenever people hear stories about people living in the flats, it's always about depressing people and stuff. And so here I am doing my part about I'm telling a story about upper class people, depressing upper class people.
People in non-flat situations. What are the things that you found in your own personal experience? What do you think works in this industry, in the process of filmmaking here in Singapore, and what do you think still needs quite a bit of work that you feel that maybe there are some improvements that could be made?
I think it goes back down to the stories lah. I mean, as I mentioned earlier, we cannot just make stories for the sake of filling in KPIs. And I think stories needs to come from the heart.
Yeah.
Right? And regardless of where the stories, the narratives come from, which community it comes from. I mean, it needs to connect to the people. That is the most important aspect of filmmaking and storytelling, I think.
Yeah.
And also about the media, I think we need to acknowledge that regardless of what language or what community the filmmaker or the stories come from, it needs to be about if you talk about Singaporean context, right, it's about Singapore. It's not about it's a Chinese film, it's a Malay film, it's an Indian film. I mean, once you do that in the mainstream media, you sort of like segregate this whole idea of. I mean, you start to compartmentalize, people's mindset. Like you need to look at it upon the whole idea of this is a Singaporean film. In for example, I may be wrong, but when you talk about American films, films that come from Hollywood, right? People don't say that this film is a Latino Hollywood film. This
one is from New York. This one is
exactly.
from
It's all
California.
about American films,
Yeah.
Hollywood films, and people know that we don't really have to really emphasize that part of it because the fact that people want to hear the stories. That's it, I think.
Well, Sanif, okay, it's time for me to get back to the crew. Thank you so much, Sanif, for taking the time out to tell us about Sayang Di Sayang. Keep the flame burning.
Thanks, man. Yeah, losing more hair in the process.
And, we want to see your next film, and we hope that it gets more awards wherever you go.
Thanks, Mrs. Yeah, thanks.
Thanks, Hanif.
Thank you. Bye.
Jalilah jali dari
Tak ada orang boleh memasak macam kau. Abang rindukan sangat sambal goreng.
mohon berhenti.
Thank you. Welcome back to the 22nd Annual Oscar Odyssey Awards, made in China and Hong Kong. Our next award celebrates the best in Kung Pao Chicken and stunt directing. It's an award that was first won by Bruce Lee and later Jackie Chan and Jet Li, and that was it. After that, it was never given out until tonight. Ladies and gentlemen, may I present the nominees of this year's Best Kung Fu Pao Action Star.
You're back, Persis. So, do you manage to find him after all?
Sanif? Yes, I did. I had to go through a lot of back doors, front doors, crawl under some people's skirts and some tables before I sussed him out. So, did I miss anything?
Nothing really. I think there was some food, maybe a lettuce-wrapped tuna spring roll, but that's about it.
How did you find it speaking to an Oscar-worthy filmmaker, huh?
Well, let's just say that making a film isn't as easy as most people think.
Yeah, which is why Oscars is such a grand affair. It celebrates the best in filmmaking around the world. Okay, supposedly. The word. Okay. So, what are everyone's predictions for the Oscars this year? Any hot seat favorites?
Yes, I know Melissa and Katie have got a lot to say about this.
All I can say is like...
Shall we go through the categories?
Yes!
That's probably the best way to do it.
Okay, let's go through the best picture. Best picture category?
Best picture, yes.
Boyhood.
Okay.
Boyhood. Nothing else stands a chance. Boyhood. It's going to be Boyhood.
Oh, okay.
Who do you want to be, Mason? What do you want to do?
Nothing else stands a chance because Boyhood has won all of the other awards, and Boyhood took 12 years to make. It doesn't matter whether it's good or not. It took 12 years to make. They're going to give it to Boyhood.
Shows dedication. They'll give it to that.
Next category: actor in a leading role. Steve Carell, Bradley Cooper, Benedict Cumberbatch, Michael Keaton, or Eddie Redmayne? Let's start with Melissa. Come on.
Eddie Redmayne.
Eddie Redmayne. He played disabled. He's good.
He's totally disabled, you know. Like,
Raven?
Totally lost his functions and everything. I think it's Eddie. But
yeah, all the arrows point to Eddie.
You see how the men's shirt fronts and the bow ties, how they glow more than the women's dresses?
Yes.
Do you know why?
Why?
Tide.
The washing powder.
The fluorescence in the washing powder is caught by the UV light.
Why do you know that?
I think Benedict...
Steve Carell is in with a chance.
Yeah, Steve Carell
is not in with a chance because Foxcatcher was the worst movie.
I know
he was terrible in that.
I know
movie.
he was terrible.
I have to agree.
Saying, I'm not. Did the actress thing of uglying up?
Yeah, he went.
He went ugly. He wore a fake nose.
Yeah.
The fake nose, yeah, the fake
nose. But then
nose.
Eddie Redmayne also uglied up.
Yes, because Nicole Kidman, she won Best Actress for The Hours because of a fake nose. Okay, so let's agree that prosthetics does get you the award.
Okay, so
because
I think you're going to be disabled. So the choice is whether to give the award to disability or fake nose. Yeah.
No, you know why? Because you have to spend so much time in that fucking makeup chair. You better win an award. Let's go on to the actress category. Best actress in a leading role: Marion Cotillard for 2 Days, One Night, Felicity Jones, The Theory of Everything, Julianne Moore, Still Alice, Rosamund Pike for Gone Girl, Reese Witherspoon for Wild. Okay, my personal favorite, Rosamund Pike for Gone Girl. I think she did a fantastic job. I love the film, and I thought that she was just amazing in it. Yeah, but I don't know about the Academy though. What do you guys think?
Okay, I have to confess.
Julianne Moore.
Yeah, Julianne Moore.
Really?
Really? No.
Yeah, she's gonna win.
Yeah, because the Hollywood
she
likes
has
her.
won everything leading up to it.
Yeah. I have to confess, out of the 5 movies, I only watched 2. I don't know.
No, I
I've only
haven't
watched
watched
one of
Yeah, I've
these.
only watched 2. I've only watched The Theory of Everything.
Yeah, but you don't
and
actually have to
Gone Girl.
watch the movies to
Yeah,
know what the Academy's going to pick.
No,
Yeah.
I know who's going to win that. That's going to be Julianne Moore.
If we're talking about overhyped nominees in this category of actress in a leading role, I would have to say Reese Witherspoon. They made such a huge big deal about her not wearing makeup in this film and just, paring it all down for this role.
it's the
And I don't
uglying up.
think...
Yeah, she went ugly.
The uglying up thing, sorry, we don't buy it anymore. So come on, Academy Award,
No,
the
she's not wearing any
Academy
prosthetics, you see.
Yeah, exactly.
No
Paring
fake
down,
nose.
paring
She has
down
a
for
real
a
nose. She
role
has no
does
chance.
not mean you are worthy of an Oscar nomination. Okay, moving on. Actor in a supporting role. Robert Duvall, The Judge. Ethan Hawke, Boyhood. Edward Norton, Birdman. Mark Ruffalo, Foxcatcher. J.K. Simmons, Whiplash.
I'm going with J.K. Simmons for Whiplash for that one.
Yeah, me too. He's won all the lead-up stuff.
Listen up, cocksuckers! Hurry the fuck up. Get your music. Irene only, set 1. Rhythm section out first. Tanner, the kit is a fucking tonal catastrophe. If I ever find one of these lying around again, I swear to fucking God, I will stop being so polite. Get the fuck out of my sight before I demolish you. Stage right, in order, now.
I don't
haven't
know
seen
anything
that
about the
film.
film.
Is it any good?
I don't know.
See, I'm planning on seeing it. I wasn't going to pay to see it, but I'm planning on seeing it when it's available because I really love Miles Teller, who's the lead in it. He's an incredibly talented young actor, and very, very charismatic, and so I want to watch Whiplash for him. But J.K. Simmons has won everything up till now, and people like J.K. Simmons. He's one of those character actors who's been around for a long time, and they tend to win Best Supporting Actor. Ed Norton's already won an Oscar, hasn't he?
Yeah.
So, I mean,
Ethan
he was
Hawke
good
has-
in, they think he was good in Birdman, but I don't think he's going to get it. I think it's J.K. Simmons for Whiplash for that one.
Moving along to the actress in a supporting role.
Patricia Arquette for
Patricia
Boyhood.
Arquette.
Laura Dern, Wild. Keira Knightley, Imitation Game. Meryl Streep, Into the Woods. Emma Stone, Birdman. I would say yes.
Patricia Arquette.
Patricia Arquette.
Everything is
She
tipping
already
towards
won
her
a
winning.
lot of awards, so I think it's pretty
Plus
much a
she was
shoo-in.
good.
Oh, okay. Let's go to
Okay.
directing.
Richard Linklater's going to win
Best
director. It's going to be
like-
Richard Linklater. He
I
worked
felt
on
like
this movie for 12
Screw
years.
cinematography.
Everybody
yeah.
else.
Let's go to directing. Okay.
Yeah. Everybody else is,
Birdman, Alejandro, Boyhood, Richard L, Foxcatcher, Bennett Miller, The Grand Budapest, Wes Anderson, The Imitation Game, Morton Tildum. Which one do you think is going to win Best Director?
I think if they
Boyhood.
had a best name would be Morton Tildum. That's fantastic.
Yeah, best name,
yeah,
right?
Richard Linklater. for Boyhood.
Linklater, yeah.
There's nobody
Yeah,
else
me
who has
too.
a chance, man.
Nobody
And
else.
Bennett
has
Miller
a
did a
chance.
terrible, terrible, terrible job, so he shouldn't even be in that.
Yeah. Birdman is actually pretty well directed,
It
well
is,
shot,
yeah.
but no,
Yeah.
no one else is in with a chance.
I think
Linklater
if
is
it
going to
was
win.
any other year, Alejandro Inarritu would definitely win that director.
But you know
Yeah.
why? Okay, but you know
Because it
why
was
Foxcatcher is
well-directed.
in all the categories, right? Because it's an all-American film. You know, it's the typical, the cowboy that had a tough beginning, and
Yeah.
then, it's the
Sports,
Rocky, you
rich
know.
people,
Sports,
gunpowder.
rich people, gunpowder, lots of blue black bruises.
Yeah.
It's Rocky. It's Rocky all over again.
Murder.
And
Yeah.
so I'm not surprised. So
It's not
yeah,
really.
but
Rocky is good.
was good.
Rocky is good, I know, but that's why you will never get another
Yeah,
Rocky,
Foxcatcher
right?
is also
Because
more negative ending. But I think Foxcatcher is it's just so bad.
Let's go to writing then. Let's go to writing because that's very
Oh,
important.
yay.
You can't have
Yes.
a film without the writing. So for original screenplay, we had Birdman, written by blah blah blah, all these people. Boyhood, written by all these
Inarritu and all
people.
his friends.
Yeah, and
Boyhood.
Richard Linklater probably took 12 years to write that script.
Yeah.
Foxcatcher.
Well, there was never a script. And Foxcatcher
Okay.
doesn't have a good
Foxcatcher's
script
bad
either. It's a
storytelling.
bad
Horrible. Okay. Okay, visual effects. Captain America America, Dawn of the
Where
Planet
all of
the
your
Apes.
favorite movies go to die.
Yes, Guardians of the Galaxy, Interstellar, X-Men, Days of Future Past.
Seriously, 2 of those are on my favorite movies of the year list.
Okay, so I think Interstellar's
I
gonna
would
win.
definitely.
But,
Okay,
but you
I
know
want to
my
say
heart's with
X-Men.
Winter
You know
Soldier.
why?
Yeah.
I want to say X-Men.
Oh,
You know
okay.
why? Because that scene
Oh, with
what's his name?
Quicksilver.
Quicksilver.
With Quicksilver
Evan
was
Peters.
so awesome. I was sitting in the theater and I was
Yeah.
like, God,
If
can
they
we
had-
have a longer version of this scene?
The
I
bullet
just
scene.
love
award
it. Yes.
Yeah, if they had award for best visual effects in one scene of the
Yes.
year, that should definitely
Yeah.
win. But the
Yeah.
great thing about that is at least half the visual effects of that scene is just people holding still.
Okay, let's go to music. Let's go to music. Let's go to music original song. Everything
None
is
of my-
awesome from the Lego movie. Glory from Selma. Grateful from Beyond the Lights. I'm Not Gonna Miss You from Glenn Campbell. And Lost Stars from Begin Again. And I have to be honest, I've never heard a single song from any of this. So I have no,
heard
I have
Everything
no
is Awesome?
opinions.
You haven't heard everything
How?
is awesome.
How could you avoid
No.
it? In this house,
Everything is cool
after
when
we
you're
saw
part
the
of a
Lego
team.
movie, for weeks, Jelly kept singing it, and I kept wanting to hit him.
It's not nominated for the best animated feature. I think that what kicks me more.
Yeah,
Yeah, the
wrong.
Lego movie,
And
right?
How to
It's
Train Your
so
Dragon
awesome.
is
Yeah,
so
okay,
mediocre.
let's go to that category.
Well, How to Train Your
The-
Dragon
the
is a great movie. How to
Sorry, How
Train
to
Your
Train Your
Dragon
Dragon 2 is mediocre.
It's terrible.
No, I hate
Yeah.
that. A
Oh,
horrible
gosh.
movie. Box Trolls was Big Hero 6, never even saw Big Hero 1 to 5,
don't
so
know.
I don't know what the hell that is. See? Yeah, I'm serious. Well, there was Big
There
Hero
isn't
1
a Big
to
Hero
5.
1 to 5. There is no Big Hero 1 to 5. There's only Big Hero 6.
Exactly.
That's
So what
the
happened
name
in
of
the 1 to
team is
5?
Big Hero 6.
I don't care.
There wasn't
so
a 1 to 5.
Yeah.
It doesn't exist.
That's just what it's called.
It's just what it's called. It's not the 6th movie in a series. It is one movie in a series that is called Big Hero 6.
and there's 6 people in the team. That's why.
that's why it's called
Oh,
Big
okay.
Hero
Yeah,
6.
exactly.
But that- see-
which is why
so
there was no
if
Big
we're
Hero
gonna-
1 to 5. Yeah.
Everything is awesome. Everything is cool when you're part of a team. Everything is awesome when we're living our dream. Everything.
And now the awards for the best acting performer who plays a handicapped or assassinated real-life character in a really terribly cheap movie.
Haha, we're going to win this category, guys. I mean, we've played so many mentally ill people or got shot or died in our previous episodes. We are a shoe-in for this award.
No way. We're going to win this award because we have the inside scoop on movies.
Yeah.
Shut up!
Ugh, no, as if.
No, you shut up. We're taking this home.
Sis, that's my suspenders here. Stop tugging it.
Silver Screen Queens is definitely going to win this award, guys.
Over our dead bodies. Tomboy Tuds forever!
Ladies, excuse me, we're in the midst of announcing the winner of the award here. Can you shut up?
Okay, shh. Everyone, shh.
And the winner is Dr. Dolittle, trapped in a limo.
What?
Who the hell is that?
The vet who lives in a limo.
How is he going to get out to get this award?
Yeah, good question. Didn't think about that.
Watch out! Leave on the loose!
I'm coming for my award. After years of being trapped in a stupid limo, I'm coming for you, Tomboy Tarts and Silver Screen Coins.
Everybody run! Run, everybody, run!
No, you don't.
Not this time.
قنبلة صوتية برمي قنبلة يدوية اقتحام اقتحام اقتحام.
Oh my god, that was a really stressful awards. But thanks for listening, folks. If you enjoyed this episode of Tomboy T-Rod, don't forget to subscribe to the show on iTunes and Stitcher and give us feedback. We've also got a great website with everything you want to read about being a tomboy in today's world. Check it out, people, at www.tomboy-tarts.com.
And if you just want to connect with us outside of the show, we are also on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, and Tumblr. Just type Tomboy Tarts.
And if you have any inquiries about advertising, collaborating, or appearing on this podcast or our blog, hey, don't hesitate to drop us an email at tomboy.tarts@gmail.com. We are everywhere! Everywhere!
People!
Until the next 2 weeks.
Ciao! And adios!
Adios!